pummeled by the Houston Texans on Sunday. C.J. Stroud throwing 4 touchdown passes. He had the same number of touchdown passes as he had incomplete passes in the game, 23 of 27 and threw 4 touchdowns. Texans win at 44-10 to win back-to-back after an 0-3 start, and the Ravens have started the season at 1-4, a brutal start for a team that a lot of people hailed as a potential Super Bowl favorite at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, especially considering all of their performance last year. I mean, if I remember correctly, they might have been undefeated until about like halfway through the season, or very close to it at least. So, yeah, 44 to lose, to be 1-4, have that record, but also to lose 44-10 is kind of an insane turnaround in my opinion. Yeah. There is no Lamar, which again has been affecting them heavily, as we can see. The other Raven that I'm a little bit disappointed in is Derrick Henry, the running back. You know, I believe this season he has been averaging about 1 fumble per game, which is crazy considering that was not even close to what it was in his past few seasons. I mean, he had a pretty okay game, 33 rushing yards. He did have a touchdown, but it's just not looking like we were supposed to. I mean, he is in his 30s. He is kind of getting up there and everything. But yeah, I'm just kind of wondering where all that went. But again, going to running backs, the Texans did have Nick Chubb also score a touchdown, which I do have both of them picked up. But yeah.
I have Nick Chubb on my fantasy team too, which is I gotta remember to put him on my bench though because the Texans are on a bye week. But I think that initially during this game when I was watching it, my thought was this has got to be the most embarrassing loss in the league this week. And then the Arizona Cardinals said, hold that thought.
This game.
The Tennessee Titans escape with a 22-21 win, but most importantly, the Arizona Cardinals, I don't know how they blew that game, Jenna.
I don't know how they blew that game either. And looking back at the highlights, you know, you had the football bouncing off of people's helmets.
Yeah.
I believe there was an interception that was caught, and then it was fumbled and then recovered.
Yeah, it was Arizona intercepted a Cam Ward pass and then fumbled into their own end zone, and the Titans recovered it for a touchdown. And that might not be the most embarrassing thing that happened to Arizona. In that game, their rookie running back, Imani DiMercato, who, you know, you're a young running back looking to make your mark. DiMercato broke off a huge run that looked like it was going to be a touchdown. I don't know how players still do this in the year 2025. When you are running to the goal line, running free to the end zone, not a tackler in sight, how do you drop the football at the goal line? How does this keep happening? It seems like it happens almost every week. We saw it with A.D. Mitchell with the Colts, did that a couple weeks ago in their loss to the Rams. We've seen it a couple of other times this year. We've seen it in college football. Why? Why do players do that in 2025? It is not that hard to just make sure you've taken 2 steps over the goal line. Why are you dropping the ball anywhere close to the goal line? I would be hanging on to the football until the referee blew the play dead and I physically saw my kicker lining up for the extra point. That's when I would finally let go of the football. Incredibly stupid mistake.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if in a few weeks, even next week maybe, we see him at McDonald's or something, like slinging French fries.
You know what? And maybe he won't drop the fryer before the fries are ready, but who knows?
Hey, final score was 22-21. I mean, the Titans were able to score 16 of those points in the fourth quarter alone. You know, Tennessee is also 1-4, just like the Giants. Arizona Cardinals are 2-3. So that's always fun to see. Another quarterback and another team that I actually do think is seeing some improvement and might be maybe one of the best quarterbacks in the league, dare I say, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Seattle Seahawks. Of course, I'm talking about Baker Mayfield, who has just been putting on a phenomenal job. But
that game, the Buccaneers and Seahawks up in Seattle, that was easily the best game of the week. A shootout between Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, the top 2 quarterbacks drafted in 2018. By the way, the next quarterback drafted in that class was a guy by the name of Josh Allen. But this game, remarkable in its own right, and a late mistake by Sam Darnold is what seals the deal. With the game tied at 35, Seahawks had the ball in the final minutes, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebacker Levante David steps in front of a Sam Darnold pass, comes away with the interception. Bucs kick the game-winning field goal to win it 38-35. A phenomenal game, Jenna.
No, this was just absolutely insane. I mean, 379 passing yards for Baker Mayfield. He had 2 touchdowns on the night. It was just insane to see. I mean, I would have loved to see the Bills game look a little bit more like this. I would have liked to see a lot of the games look a lot more like this. But they didn't.
Yeah,
so.
And we'll see how the games shake out in Week 6. Again, the Bills in Atlanta for a Monday night showdown with the Falcons in a 7:15 kickoff. That'll do it for our NFL segment. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, Jenna and I are going to talk about the NHL, the Sabres in action. Still trailing 1-0 in the second period. Jenna's just going to hang out with me for most of the entire show tonight. But you know what? That's A-okay. There's no problem with that.
Fine.
We'll be back in a few to talk about the NHL alongside Jenna Polito. I'm Matt Volz, and you're watching Sports Hour on WNYF.
We've been down there. You gotta do the same. Post office, all you do is sign. So don't get nervous. Sign your name. For selective service, it takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. For selective service.
Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you've got to register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency.
So if you're 18 now, Selective Service, you gotta get down to the post office.
Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. Selective Service. We've been down there. Post office. You gotta do the same. Post office. All you do is sign. So don't get nervous. Sign your name. For Selective Service. It takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. For Selective Service.
Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you've got to register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency.
So if you're 18 now, Selective Service, you gotta get down to the post office.
Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. Selective Service.
Welcome back to Sports Hour on WNYF. I'm Matt Volz alongside Jenna Polito, and it is hockey time, as you can probably tell from both the screen behind us and our hockey outfits. Season has begun. The Sabres are back, again, as I mentioned, trailing the New York Rangers 1-0 in the second period right now. Hockey season is back, Jenna. What an exciting time.
I'm so excited. I mean, of course I know my heart's going to be broken again into a million little pieces, but hey, it's hockey season and I'm excited. One thing that's a little bit surprising, and this is due to when the season actually started, Tuesday the 7th, I believe. But right now we're losing 1-0 to the New York Rangers, who on face-off on the first day of the season, they actually lost to the Pittsburgh Penguins. 0-3, so first shootout of the season comes on the first puck drop of the season, which was crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so first game, also, I think we weren't here by the time that the Stanley Cup Finals ended, because again, these have been going 2 7-game series pretty much every single round. I don't know what is in the water or something, but spoiler, the Florida Panthers beat the Edmonton Oilers to get their 2nd consecutive Stanley Cup, which they are looking to be, I think, the 2nd team in history to make it to a 3rd. Florida Panthers played the Chicago Blackhawks on the 7th as well, and they beat them 3-2 at home after their banner raising ceremony. First goal did go to Frank Nazar of the Blackhawks, though, for the entire season. So, you know, there's a little bit of good stuff to talk about within the league. But then, of course, we also have the Sabres, who are without Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, their main goalie, my main goalie. Also, Michael Kesselring, the forward we brought in, I believe, on the J.J. Peterka trade to the Utah Mammoth. So it's just kind of going to be interesting to see how this season really starts off. I mean, this is the last season with 82 games instead of 84, which they will be changing for next season. But yeah, that's a lot of hockey. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing with the Sabres, you had mentioned some of the injuries that they had with Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen out, Michael Kesselring out. Sabres also missing Jordan Greenway. He's starting the season on injured reserve. Owen Power also is no longer on injured reserve. Power listed as day-to-day. He is not playing in the game tonight. And one other injury in the Sabres lineup, Zach Benson listed as day-to-day. Benson not playing in the Sabres season opener tonight. And the question marks with the Sabres, at least for me, really rely on the offense. And I think that there is some talent there. There's potential there. But my question is, where exactly is a lot of this offense going to come from? J.J. Peterka was one of Buffalo's top offensive contributors last year. He was traded away to bring in Michael Kesselring and Josh Doan. But, I mean, Kesselring is a defenseman. And Josh Doan, although he is, you know, he will probably fit in nicely as a middle six winger for the Sabres, Doan's not really quite as much of a scorer, and definitely not to the degree that Peterka was. So the biggest question for Buffalo is going to be, where is the offense going to come from? So far this season, Jenna, it's come from nowhere. We've got 3 minutes left in the second period, and Buffalo's still down 1-0. Although I will say that from the bits and pieces that I've been able to see of the game, they've played fairly well so far tonight. So there's promise there.
Yeah, I mean, from what you've been saying about the game and everything, they've had around 2 power plays so far, which they have not looked bad on, which, again, if we go back to last season, that has been our biggest weakness, is our power play. Our penalty kill is usually pretty decent. I wouldn't say it's the best, not the worst, though, but we just, for some reason, on the power play, we could not find a way to get the puck into the net, even on 5-on-4. So that was something, I mean, especially last year with the J.J. Peterka trade, I think that kind of really rocked us. Again, he was one of our best forwards. So just going in, knowing all of that, it makes it a little hard to look at the season. I'm also forgetting his name, but I do know someone was brought in to help Kevin Adams at GM. He has a very Swedish name.
Yes, Jarmo Kekalainen, yes.
Yes. So we'll just really have to see how that goes, because, again, a lot of the problems, in my opinion, the Sabres have come from the development. They come from the front office and just the management of the team, because we have great players. I mean, you look at Tage Thompson, like these amazing players who have been invited to try out for the Olympic team in Italy, the Olympics in February. But again, just something's not sticking. We're not able to like work cohesively together.
Yeah, it's been one of the biggest issues. I mean, and more further evidence for that is, look at the number of former Sabres who have gone on and won Stanley Cups elsewhere. I mean, you look
Sam
at
Reinhart.
Yeah, Sam Reinhart down in Florida, Brandon Montour winning the Cup with Florida, Jack Eichel with Vegas a couple years ago, Evan Rodriguez down in Florida as well. So there's a struggle to get players to maximize their full potential in Buffalo, and it's been an issue the Sabres have had for a long time. Of course, it's no secret in Western New York that the Sabres are entering the year with the longest playoff drought in NHL history. The Sabres have not made the playoffs since 2011, 14 years ago. If the Sabres miss the playoffs this year, that will be 15 straight years of no playoffs for the Buffalo Sabres. So there's a little bit of, there's a lot of pressure, I would say, on general manager Kevin Adams, on head coach Lindy Ruff. There's really a lot riding on this season for Buffalo, and I will say that the defense was kind of rebuilt in a way, or at the very least retooled. They brought in a few other players, made a trade with the Penguins to bring in Connor Timmins on the blue line. We mentioned Kesselring earlier as well. Bo Byram was re-signed. So the hope for the Sabres is that even if, goaltending, we don't know how long Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen is going to be out. Alexander Georgiev was placed on waivers because he looked terrible in the preseason. So there may be some question marks in goal for the Sabres. If that defense can stand tall and be solid, then the Sabres will have a chance as long as their offense is finding a way to put the puck in the back of the net.
Yeah, it will definitely be interesting to see how this season goes, especially just looking at KeyBank Center and looking at the Sabres and their marketing strategies and everything. We have lost so many season ticket holders. I know we only split it with people, but I know we have not renewed our season tickets, and now they're doing college nights where tickets are only $20. Which again, say what you will, that could be good, or in my opinion, that's kind of just another way to, fill up the stadium a little bit. So that's always so fun to see. Again, going just a little more into some fun things that are happening in the league. There will be a little bit of a break between February when those Winter Olympics are going on, because again, a lot of NHL players will be in for either the USA or for Russia or any country that they may be from. And then something I found weird, the Winter Classic, scheduled for January 2nd. It is in Miami.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how you think about that, but...
Yeah, it's just, I understand that you're trying to sort of market the NHL towards your warmer weather areas, but something about the Winter Classic being in Florida bothers me. I feel like they have the Stadium Series for a reason. If you want to have outdoor games down south, fine. Have those be your Stadium Series games. The Winter Classic should be somewhere where it's cold and it's outdoors, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's where the Marlins play too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's, it's not an enclosed stadium. So.
Yeah, exactly. And it just, I don't know. When I think of the Winter Classic, I think of games like the very first Winter Classic at the Ralph, with the Penguins and the Sabres playing in the snow, Ryan Miller wearing the, winter hat on top of his helmet. I think of games like that. And there have even been games in some other places where it's been really cool. I mean, I remember when the Blues and Blackhawks played at Busch Stadium in St. Louis back in 2017. It snowed before that game, and it was really, really cool. I would be in full support of having a Winter Classic somewhere like Colorado. I think that could be fantastic. I don't like, and it seems like the last few years, they had it played at the Cotton Bowl between Nashville and Dallas a few years ago. They've had warm weather teams play in the Winter Classic, and I don't know. I'm not a big fan.
I'm not a big fan either. Another thing, they are doing another Euro series. It is the Nashville Predators with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Are going to be in Sweden on November 14th and the 16th, which I think will be fun to see. I really like seeing the Sabres play in the Czech Republic. Obviously, I was not able to be there. But yeah, I am excited for that. I'm excited to see how this season plays out. It seems like a lot of storylines emerging already if they have not in the offseason. So yeah, it's only just beginning.
It is only just beginning, and again, the Sabres winding down here in the second period, still trailing 1-0 to the New York Rangers. That'll do it for our NHL segment. Jenna, you were in quite a lot tonight, but we're finally going to end your night. You're finally going to be relieved. Sam Fox will be joining me to talk about Formula One here in just a minute. Alongside Jenna Polito, I'm Matt Volz, and you're watching Sports Hour on WNYF.
We've been down there. You gotta do the same. post office for selective service.
Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you've got to register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency.
So if you're 18 now, selective service, you gotta get down to the post office.
Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Takes no time, just sign on the line at the post office for selective service. We've been down there. Post office. You gotta do the same. Post office. All you do is sign. So don't get nervous. Sign your name. For selective service. It takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office for selective service.
Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you've got to register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency.
So if you're 18 now, selective service, you gotta get down to the post office.
Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Takes no time, just sign on the line at the post office for selective service.
Welcome back to Sports Hour on WNYF. I'm Matt Voltz. I'm now joined by Sam Fox to talk about Formula One. First of all, Sam, excellent to have you back on as an analyst this year.
No, right? I'm so excited. I came on for the first ever Sports Hour, but it's so this semester. But it is great to be back with you. Jenna was great, but you talking to F1 is just so much more fun because I think you know NASCAR. No offense, Jenna.
I do. I know NASCAR very
You know
well.
NASCAR and Formula One. They're similar enough that honestly, it's a great conversation to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, before we go into our Formula One analysis, I want to wish you a very happy birthday, Sam.
Oh, thank you.
I understand you are, 19
19 today.
Well, excellent. I hope has it been a good birthday for you so far?
I think it has been a good
That's
birthday.
good.
I have had so many classes and so much work to do, but you know what? I'd rather that than be bored in my room today. So quite frankly, it's been a good day.
Well, there you go. Hopefully you've had some sort of sweet treat, birthday cake, something along those lines.
Not yet, though my friend's partner did buy me Popeyes, so I think that's going to be my sweet treat
There
for
you
tonight.
go. There you go. So something to look forward to after the show.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining us on your birthday.
Of course.
And I hope it's a great rest of the night for you as well. So the Formula One season, I understand we're getting closer to the end, heading to Circuit of the Americas next weekend. I understand that they're off this weekend.
They are off this weekend.
Yeah, how's the season been so far? How are things looking?
Honestly, the season's been pretty good. For the most part, we have had a great battle for the top drivers championship between Oscar and Lando. Max has been in play, but honestly, he's out of the running for first at this point. I believe he's like close to 70 points out of the way, and that's almost not feasible unless Oscar just completely messes up and just is DNF'd for the rest of the season, basically. Same with Lando. Lando and Oscar, though, they're only a few points away from each other. I think it's about 22, which means that if Oscar happens to DNF this next race, or like not even DNF, just doesn't get in the points at all, like 10 or lower, or like 11 or lower, and Lando wins, Lando will take first from Oscar, which is amazing to see as a Lando fan. I am rooting for both, as I am a McLaren fan as entirety, but I am a Lando fan at heart, so I want to see him get the Drivers' Championship that he kind of deserves after being in Formula One for so long.
Yeah, absolutely, and those sort of close finishes at the top of the standings is what makes this sort of stuff so fun to watch. 6 races left on the schedule this year. And how do you think so between these two, is it really just between these two? You said not really anybody else factoring into it at this point?
It really is between these two, quite frankly, for the top. Honestly, the top 5 is kind of not even that close at all. There's a good chunk of points between 4th and 5th. 3rd and 4th, they definitely have a chance of changing a little bit, depending. It's about 46 points between. So it's a little bit easier to do that instead compared to 3rd to 1st. Lando obviously has to watch out for Max behind him. It's bound to be Max Verstappen is Max Verstappen. He's going to try and win no matter what. He has been, actually. I think he's won 3 races now in the last 3 races so far, which has been great if you are a Max Verstappen fan. But the top is basically set. It's basically 1st and 2nd is battling, 3rd and 4th may battle each other, and 2nd and 3rd is basically like Max is likely going to be 3rd unless McLaren just cannot get their act together.
Yeah, so between those top 2, the next race being at Circuit of the Americas, how do you think that factors into the strengths of both drivers here at the top? You know, Circuit of the Americas, of course, a more sort of tight turn, windy type of track. I know they run there in NASCAR as well, but it's also an opportunity to be stateside. I'm sure probably easier viewing time for F1 fans here. Yeah.
It very much so is. Circuit of the Americas, or Austin, as most fans refer to the place by like the city occasionally. So you have like Monaco, which is this country. I don't know why I gave that example. Austin is honestly, it's up for grabs for anyone. Max has almost always won at Austin, I believe. So quite frankly, Max has a high chance of getting first and bringing that point gap between him and Lando down more. Lando and Oscar have been fighting on track, but McLaren hasn't been letting that happen very much recently this season. For some reason, McLaren will not let their drivers just like battle it out on the track. Instead, they have to like manage what they're doing and make sure, obviously, they've won the Constructors' Championship, go McLaren. But they haven't been letting their drivers race. So honestly, my guess is Max first. Oscar and Lando could be 3rd or 4th. I don't think they're going to. They've been kind of lower top 5 recently. George Russell, I would love to see get 2nd or battle for 1st. You never know what'll happen in Formula One. 2 races ago for qualifying, we had Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz in 2nd for qualifying, and Liam Lawson for 3rd. A crazy turn, a crazy just switch up of qualifying. The race ended with Max and George in 1st and 2nd, and then we had Carlos Sainz in 3rd. So quite frankly, it's anybody's guess as to how a race could go for Austin. It's quite fun to watch Formula One with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the fun of it being so close and this down to the wire nature. And of course, the series going into the beginning part of December, with the final race being the first weekend in December. But I wanted to ask you about, so McLaren has locked up the Manufacturers' Championship. Do you think that they'll let their top 2 drivers fight it out now that they've got that on lock?
Honestly, as a McLaren fan, I can hope. Racing is not racing unless you have your drivers battling. It doesn't matter. What happens is what happens. Yes, sometimes they crash and it's bound to happen. But if you keep trying to manage what they're doing throughout a race, it's not going to be fun racing for the viewers. They're trying to up engagement, and yet these teams are managing the drivers and not letting them fully race each other to their fullest potential. So in all honesty, I hope that McLaren lets them, but as the way McLaren has been going, I have a feeling it's not going to be that they are letting them race each other and just duke it out on track. And no matter what happens, if something happens in the pit lane, like a pit stop is longer than anticipated, or some malfunction happens in the race, it's down to the drivers to get back in those positions that they were. It's not down to the team to fix their error when it's a simple error that happens to everyone. These are things that happen to every single team on the track, not just McLaren themselves. McLaren is the people who are just stopping them from letting them race it out like every other team does.
Yeah, definitely sort of seems like kind of a business decision for McLaren, because you don't want it to be a situation where your top two accidentally mess things up for one another, and that gives somebody like Max Verstappen the opportunity to creep up and get even closer into those top two. I mean, I would assume throughout these last few races, McLaren is probably going to be telling them, I would think, to, take it not like totally hands off, but in that sort of a situation, you almost do want to play it a little bit safe, because again, you don't want to allow Max Verstappen to come up and challenge your drivers for first and second. McLaren feels like they're in an excellent spot, but they've just got to sort of manage things smartly and manage them well over the last 6 races.
That's honestly, they really do. I wanted not to change the subject.
Yeah.
I have written down in my notes here in all caps, Carlos got third. I have to emphasize how amazing this is that Carlos Sainz got third, getting boot off from Ferrari in favor for Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time world champion. Most people would take that opportunity. If you had an opportunity to get a previous world champion on your team, you'd take it. But Carlos had proven to Ferrari that he was worthy of being on Ferrari. It wasn't like he wasn't winning. He was winning, I think, about even a little bit more or the same as Charles. So seeing Carlos get on the podium, third place in Azerbaijan, before Lewis Hamilton has even had a chance to get on the podium. We are 6 races to the end. We have 6 more races left, and Lewis Hamilton has not gotten on the podium yet. He has scored points for Ferrari, yes, but if you're leaving a team in favor for another team that you suspect to be better, despite the fact that your team that you're leaving has kind of shown that they've improved over time, and you have gone to a team now where you're not getting on the podium, getting those major points, it's kind of a weird decision to make from Ferrari's standpoint as well, seeing as they're dropping a driver that has shown that they can win. So honestly, I was just so excited to find out that Carlos got third after having his seat taken and not knowing where he was going to go at the end of last season. Yeah, that's sort of a fun revenge factor for him almost, kind of showing Ferrari that they might have let the wrong guy go. So I want to, before we sign off here, I want to get your thoughts on the last 6 races and specifically the next one. What are you sort of looking for? How do you think things are going to pan out over these next couple of races? Obviously, I have to say, I'm looking for Lando wins. Yeah. I'm a Lando fan. I've got to look for those Lando wins. He's been kind of iffy on the winnings recently, but in all honesty, the next upcoming races are one of the more well-known races. You have Austin, Mexico, which is such a great race. Sadly, we don't have any more. We don't have anyone from Mexico on the grid anymore, with Sergio Perez not being in Red Bull this year. Next year we will. He is racing for Cadillac. We're getting a new team next year. Then we have Brazil, Las Vegas, and Qatar. And then Abu Dhabi is our final race, which will likely determine who is our driver's champion, which is great. Yeah, it's sort of fun when it's able to always, come down to the last race. Sometimes that happens where, and it used to happen in NASCAR too, in the old point system, where somebody would run away with it so much that you might even have a full race or 2 full races left in the season, and you already know who your driver's champion is going to be, and it kind of takes away from the fun of it. The fact that this is such a close race down to the wire, especially between 2 guys who are teammates, could be a lot of fun. It is going to be a lot of fun. Just really quickly, since we're not being cut off yet, I have learned that Qatar is a sprint race, which kind of makes me a bit mad. Qatar is the hottest race of the year, with drivers passing out, throwing up, struggling to get out of their cars after races. And the FIA has chosen to make that race specifically a sprint race is crazy to me. Yeah, that's insane. That's something that they'll definitely have to be careful of driver health and, 100%. And things like that for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for joining me, Sam. Good luck to Lando, of course, in the upcoming races. Well, that'll do it for tonight's episode of Sports Hour. I want to thank everybody here at WNYF who makes this show possible, as well as everybody tuning in at home.
We will be back to talk about the Bills, the Sabres, F1, all sorts of good stuff on Sports Hour, all in good time. For now, I'm Matt Volz, and you've been watching Sports Hour on WNYF. Have a good night.